Well, how do you mentioned that the budget for transportation is separate from the general fund of the state budget.
Yes.
And how does that work?
Okay. The monies that come in from the cash tax, the car title tax, and the other fees and so forth go into a separate transportation fund. Now the governor appoints a commission, a board called the Commonwealth Transportation Board, with members from the 11 different districts around Virginia. I believe it's 11, could be 9. And they really make the final decisions on what projects are built or constructed and so forth around the Commonwealth, whether it's a rail project, an airport project, or a highway project. Now within VDOT then works under the Commonwealth Transportation Board in the different regions of the state and sort of feeds information up as to what needs to be done and what kind of money they need and so forth and so on. And that brings in stimulus transportation monies. See, normally the Commonwealth Transportation Board in a district like in Salem District, the local residency in Rocky Mountain or Chatham or Floyd would work with the local board of supervisors on secondary roads and even primary roads to improve or build new roads. The stimulus fund is working different. All that money is flowing directly to the governor, the Commonwealth Transportation Board. VDOT has a say-some in it. But those decisions are sort of bypassing the General Assembly. So we're not involved as we normally are in the process of where stimulus money is going to be used. And that's caused a little bit of concern among many of us. So we're trying to communicate our positions on these different things through the process. But it's sort of a fast process. What I'm afraid will happen is a lot of the road projects will, even the ones that come to the Salem district, might be contracted to ninth or district firms, in other words out of Richmond or Washington, because of the Bacon-Davis Act, which requires unionized union pay scales and procedures and processes. Now the implication there is if you're going to spend $1 million, you probably could do that under the regular process for $500,000 or $600,000. So that there's some concern over that.
I suspect there's a lot with the budget crunch.
Well, it does. Now, we need to lock that transportation fund up so that it's used for transportation. And then we get into the discussion of use of general funds for transportation, which I was talking about a minute ago. It seems to me there is some value as a core function of government to transportation. Yes, user fees are primarily the way to pay for it. But I have no difficulty in using some general fund money to supplement the transportation fund to help you get to that new school, or to help you get to that hospital, or for the police to go down to provide public safety. I don't think it should be a major source of it, but certainly some. And there is a misconception too. Before I went to Richmond, House Bill 3202 passed to add funding to transportation. This was in 2007. And it had a couple of things in it that weren't right. It was a fast track bill. It had the abuser fees, and it had some language in it about regional authorities that the courts threw out. So those monies didn't get added to come into the transportation fund, but others did. There's about $300 million a year of new funding coming in each year to the state for transportation. So it's not correct when people say, you haven't provided any new money. In addition to that, in that same bill, there was $3 billion of transportation bonds authorized by the General Assembly. And none of those have been released by the executive branch to build new roads or help congestion in Northern Virginia or whatever. There's another aspect. This last year, I co-patroned a bill to take some of the profits from the ports, like Hampton Roads. Okay, they're growing, they're making money. Instead of raising taxes, take some percentage, I think we had 35% of the new profits out of that, and put that money back into transportation for Hampton Roads. Same way with Northern Virginia with the airports. Reagan and National and Dulles are doing great. Lots of people flying still, and they're making money. So take some portion of that and help improve the roads in that area. But that then led to Elliston, the new inland port, transfer station. And part of that bill would have dedicated the revenue coming in from Elliston, which would probably have been around $50 million a year, to the Salem district to help roads in this region where the trucks have got to access it, where people are going to be coming in and going to jobs and so forth.
Now Franklin County and Floyd County are in the
They're
Salem
in the
district.
Salem district,
Okay.
but the Pittsylvania is in the Lynchburg district.
Okay.
Right. So transportation is it's a heated discussion. It's not just money again. Where should we be spending the money is part of it too. Now maintenance, by the state law and constitution, I believe that the VDOT is supposed to do maintenance before they constructed it, doing a new construction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's some judgment being rendered there in the Commonwealth Transportation Board and VDOT that we reduce maintenance, we reduce personnel, but we still build a few new roads to get the matching federal dollars, and that's driving the closing of some of the residencies like in Rocky Mount and Chatham, and some of the rest stop proposals. As I told VDOT in Salem, I gave them my opinions on it, and I thought that the way to go would be, you have this much money, define your mission, which is to maintain what we have, number one, but then determine how many people and where they should be to do that, and whatever is left to apply to new construction. So I have a philosophical difference with the process, the way it's going on. Nevertheless, maintenance should be number one.
So if the state of Virginia does not build the new roads, we lose those federal transportation dollars.
Yes.
They'll just allocate it somewhere else.
Yes, that's true. And that's a bitter pill to take too, because I'd like to go I-70 through it, and clearly some other places in the state would like to have new construction as well. But when you come to tough times like this, you might have to make some tough choices. And I don't think that they would have to stop all new construction. To keep the rest areas open and do the mowing at the intersections properly and keep the residences open, I doubt it taking all of that state match money. But again, I don't have access to those figures, but it just seems to me that's a real